The colors, we're still putting in, trying to create that stucco look, different colored paints, integrating wood into the design, as well as the brick or adobe block, and some corrugated metal or rusted metal appearance. So going back to the same thing as we did on the Western scheme, same elevations. This elevation utilizes those finishes to try to get the adobe look. We're integrating the entrance off of 2nd here, a covered walkway in our future art wall. The changes on the east elevation from brown, we have the floor plan A again on the top, where we can kind of see we create the entrance with the brick, and then we kind of add in the shaded covers. We also integrate more railing or metal railing to try to create interest and frontage along the sidewalk on the east. Here we have the sort of fenced off parking area, and then you step back to level 2 and then step back to level 3 on floor plan B. The rest of it maintains the walkway down first, and then same sort of architectural design of what's at the stair tower now. And then again, from the west elevation, Scottsdale Road, the main focus is this sort of entrance here, and then these other buildings that are kind of in behind the alleyway of floor plan A and floor plan B. So same views, walking around, looking from, moving around from 2nd to the detailed view of the entrance, keeping the same architecture and trying to keep covered walkways so it brings the scale down of the building. As we move to Brown Avenue, main entrance here makes it clear where you're coming in, and then the exit for the truck and vehicular access comes out here, and then maintaining that storefront. This is showing floor plan A, and as we come around, we maintain that street front across Brown Avenue, then step back up above to the 3rd level. And then looking down first, where we can see we're still maintaining the covered walkway, and we break it up with different openings and canopies and the railing up above, and it shows how we step back away from the corner here. It's still integrating and leaving the artwork that's on the corner on both schemes. This detail top, floor plan on B on the bottom, you can see that, again, that we're maintaining that frontage along Brown. We do step back up on the 2nd to 3rd level, so there's a little bit of exposure there and pushing the building back. And then on floor plan B, we have the parking down on the 1st level, maintaining that with the fencing and the masonry wall there, and then we push back to level 2 and then push back to level 3 to kind of create that, as well as having to maintain the stair tower, so you come up and have access to the 3rd level, so you can kind of see the difference between the buildings and how they relate with that stair tower.
So that was your overview of the Western design scheme and the Adobe design scheme. For those of you furiously writing on your comment cards, that's the 2nd question. And before we get to the end of our presentation and what comes next, I want to turn it over to Victoria Sahadi from Scottsdale Public Art, who's going to talk not only about what we're going to do for new art on the garage, but also the existing art as well.
Thank you for permanent projects, which I will talk a little bit more about on the next slide. The artist, whoever is chosen, will work very closely alongside this design team to make sure that the artwork concept aligns with whichever design scheme is chosen. So it's not going to clash. It's going to make sense with the overall building and Old Town as well. The public art will be made of permanent materials. We're thinking maybe mosaic or metal applique. This will not be a painted mural, okay? So permanent materials only.
It's the exact same project schedule we used at the beginning, but this is where we talk about, where are we going next? So before I start to lose folks, I just really want to make a plea. If you didn't sign in, please sign in before you go. And if you need a comment card, go ahead and wave your hands. We've got Ross and Deanna here who can hand out comment cards, and then they're also going to start scribing as we do questions and answers. Looks like we need one in the back. Thank you. And and we will take all those comments. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, this entire PowerPoint will be online on our city's website. The best way to find it is simply go to scottsdaleaz.gov, hit the search bar, type in Brown Avenue parking structure. This should be the first link that pops up. We will have an online comment card there as well, so if you'd rather go home and type your comments as opposed to writing them out today, that works too. So we'll leave all of that information up. The presentation will be up for a long, long time. At some point, we do cull the comments so that the design team can continue moving forward. As we mentioned, this still needs to go to the design review board, and council will see it in a number of different funding packages. So I appreciate you hanging with us. So we are looking at, with a number of these options, using form liners to give that concrete a certain look or feel. And that was shown in both of the options, but we're also getting a suggestion to do that in the art as well. We got a comment about the configuration of the spaces as far as handicap spaces, and we got that all recorded, so thank you. So yes, the gentleman in the red and white shirt.
Could you refresh my memory? What is the current number of spaces in the basement and the ground?
I'm going to ask Eric. Eric, what is the current number of spaces in the basement and the ground level?
211 combined.
211 total.
Okay, so either way, you're almost doubling the number of spaces. Correct.
Correct.
So here's my couple of questions. You've got an elevator that can hold about 4 people, 5 if they're not like regular people. That elevator is broken, has been down this last year 45% of the days. You're not going to increase the capacity of the elevator or the number of days that it is functional?
All right, we have some specific questions about the elevator capacity and whether or not it's going to be replaced. Is that a Ben or an Eric question? Oh, it's a Darren question. I got it totally wrong. Hold on one moment.
So the existing elevator will be replaced, but we do have an existing shaft that we have to deal with as far as the size of that elevator. So we have not got that level of detail about whether we can fit a new elevator into that yet or not. We believe we can. So for the cab size, it's likely to be about the same. Hopefully, operationally, it will be up 365 days a year. So.
All right, so main question was about the elevator. It's going to be in the same location, but we are looking at replacing it. So I promised the woman in the gray shirt next, and I see you all waving at me. I promise after this round, we'll go to the next.
Relative to your architectural program, does it include the accommodating for the electrical vehicles, the fire code issues, and also the cars weigh more, and so is all that going to be addressed with the existing underground structure? All of that, is that not going to have to be up to fire code?
All right.
Also?
The question is...
And one more thing.
Sorry, we got 2 questions.
Yeah, I can't tell, with this rendering, but I certainly hope that the curves are rounded rather than squared off like.
Structural capacity of this garage. How are we going to get emergency vehicles in and out? What can it hold? And it was built 20 years ago. Can the basement handle this?
So I think it was electric vehicles, right? EVs. So right now we have the EVs planned for that northeast corner up near Brown Avenue. The existing garage has a fire protection system in it. So with this project, we'll be making sure that that fire protection system existing is adequate, and then obviously expanding that vertically with the other levels. The structural question that's a global question we get when we're designing parking structures or garages all over the country. So there's a lot of studies out there that have shown us that yes, EV vehicles do weigh more on average than ICE or combustion engine vehicles. The reality is that the structural design already accounts for that in our analysis. So we don't anticipate any structural rehabilitation to address the electric vehicle loads.
it's not there. It's going to be across from the old Adobe and many other historic buildings. So I would suggest that the renderings include nearby buildings. One of the first slides that I think it was Darren showed, I think has an error.
Come up with the height for the measurement for the height of the bell tower on the old Adobe Mission, and I believe that was laser? Lasers.
You give them 34 feet.
Yeah,
It's
so,
changed.
yeah, Chase laser scanned it, and then we modeled it.
I have some other questions, not about so much appearance. Have to remember that you're putting this in front of probably the most historic building in Old Town from the standpoint of the evolution of culture in Scottsdale. From a time when the people who built that Adobe Mission were not allowed to even live in the Scottsdale town limits, to where we go to a time where we have an Hispanic as the mayor of Scottsdale. A lot of change between them there. It's an important building, it needs to be respected. As far as appearance goes, I don't think you should use Adobe. The only Adobe building that should be there should be that old Mission. You use Adobe or anything that resembles, you're not actually doing Adobe, you're just giving the appearance of Adobe. It detracts from the historic nature of the old Adobe Mission. What is the height from floor to ceiling of the first platform above ground level? I mean, what is the ceiling height there? I'm trying to figure out how you get this 32 feet as the overall height of the structure.
Really quick before we get into height questions, because we can pull up that slide. So while you're doing that, I just want to summarize your comment that a vote to not go with the Adobe design scheme, and that the Mission should be the only building in the area that has that due to its historic nature. So we do have that scheme with measurements, and we can quickly address how we came up with those. And then if you have specific questions about measurements, I'm happy to have you talk to Darren after the meeting, because we can really dig into that with you.
I do have a question that somebody else would probably answer. How many
Level.
Really quick. So the question was, how many parking spaces do we have on the third level? And the answer is it would change from option A to option B. So I don't believe we have a lot of folks doing math in their head, but nobody has it off the top of their head. But again, if you stop by this group right afterwards, I'm sure we could probably pull it up for you. I think we all have laptops here today. So, and then on, did we get that? Well, we're working backwards. We're almost there. Back two more. Oh, it's going to take us a while to get to that one. I know that you
The
have.
commercial alley height, though, is still going to be 17 feet high.
So the clear height required is 14.
Okay, the question was, is the alley height going to be maintained as it is now, which is 17 feet?
Yeah, so the alley height, cleared required height is 14 feet.
And that's what you're going with.
Yeah, so our parts of our second level deck is at 15 feet in order to clear that.
Well, that explains some of how your overall height is lower than anticipated.
Higher than anticipated, because we've had
I'm
it.
talking about the overall height. Originally, we're talking about 40 feet for the top of the parapet walls. I was at the last meeting with you.
Yeah, we were talking about the heights of like our stair tower.
No, I was talking about the actual parapet wall of the main building.
Yeah. So we have about 15 feet from first level to second level, and then about 12 feet from second level to third level. And then this is the height of our parapet required for fall protection, and then we have some variation in that in order to get some interest in the parapet.
Which explains why you're down to around 32.
Yep.
All right, and we were talking, the question was, how come that it was presented differently at that first meeting? For those of you who were at the first meeting, one of the things we said is, we're very early in the process and we were making estimates, and I think that the Mission was at the top of the cross or the top of the bell tower.
It was to the top of the bell tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you guys show the in Plan B, and look, I agree. You got ugly and uglier. You got Plan A looks like a joke in Knott's Berry Farm. Howdy Doody. You got. I wanted to see the Adobe. I wanted to like it. I wanted to see it like Santa Barbara. I wanted to see some arches. The gentleman up here in the right in the blue shirt gave me a painting the other day of a really cool Adobe picture. And I mean, there's just such great architecture when you talk about Adobe and, like I said, Santa Barbara and making something cool. I don't see any green spaces on the roof. I feel like there's an opportunity there, especially if you're going to host farmers markets up there. You know, it's wild to me that we're even having this conversation when there's a 4-story or 3-story parking structure behind the Mission in Old Town. You know, my name is Brian Robb, you guys. I own the Mission Restaurant. You know, the reason I got that restaurant was because they screwed the pooch and built the first parking structure there. It took 2.5 years and shut down those streets, put the original restaurant owner out of business, and that's who I lease that restaurant from currently. So I do have questions about how you're going to keep Brown open, how you're going to keep 1st and 2nd Street open, how you're going to work around those businesses over there, because we're all going to be affected, and if we don't think we are, we're crazy. You know, and I know that's a lot, but I also have a question. When you look at Plan B and you say, okay, here's our setback, could you not take the setback all the way across that whole street, meaning eliminate that top staircase area on the left of that picture you're barely seeing, and utilize just the staircase in the back, right, and then the elevator, because you've got a smaller section. You're not
For the staircase, we do have to have 2 exits from the top level, and they're currently positioned very well for that in the 2 corners of the structure. So when we looked at the plan, trying to come up with a different location for that stair, if we wanted to push the whole thing back, it actually starts to really impede the existing circulation traffic of the lower levels that are there now, as well as the structures that are there now. So it's not something that's really viable as an option to push that stairwell back, at least with the current design, without making major modifications.
So before I get to the question, the comment, which was floor plan B, western structure, but let's add more texture to the stuccoed areas and rounded corners that would take the design from where it is to a better place, we'll say. And then the next question is construction timing. I don't know that we have an answer for that at this time. The answer is we intend to start next summer. It will take us a while to get through this process and figure that out. As we develop it further, we will 100% be in communication with the Old Town community.
So when will it go to DR? So that kind of will tell you something.
So the follow-up question is, when will this go to the design review board? Well, we don't leave our we have not made our pre-application to the design review board yet. We intended to do that after this meeting. We weren't ready. For all intents and purposes, we need to have a design to take forward. So we'll leave these public comments up for a while, and then we'll refine them. Once we make that application to the design review board, that process is usually about 3 months. So we anticipate a DR date somewhere in there. All right, thank you.
Does that have to be white?
Oh.
You know, some of those things.
No, we were trying to
break that up.
Yeah, so we were trying to highlight the entrance and make that example here. And yes, we did do a different material in here, and we could do that over there, certainly.
These designs and figure out what our best path forward is. So if we had an overwhelming response and everybody said, we like floor plan A, Western, or floor plan B, Adobe, or some other variation, it would be pretty clear. If we get a little bit more of a mixed message, we have some work to do. So we are going to regroup after we exactly see what we get. Yes, there are going to be changes no matter what. We're getting a lot of feedback, right? Whether it's we're adding rounded corners or whatever. Whatever that is, we're going to communicate it out to this group. If you signed in, you're going to get notified of our next steps, whether that's us showing up at an Old Town meeting that's coming up, whether it's us posting it on the website, whether it's DR, or whether we feel like we need to have another meeting. So really, it depends on what we hear.
And then
for a while this is being constructed, and even longer, because it is a city project, and you can say it's going to take a year or 16 months. It's going to take longer than whatever you tell us. That's just the nature of the beast. We understand that. You know, look at El Dorado Park is a perfect example of that as well. What kind of concessions are the city going to do to help the businesses around there so they don't lose businesses?
The question is, what is the city going to do for businesses? And I'm sorry, I don't have a very specific answer at this time. We're going to get there. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be a pinch to this, right? I mean, we're going to do everything we can to keep streets open as much as we can, but we were very clear in that May meeting, we're going to need to put some cranes up and bring some big stuff in. Are we going to try and do that during the slowest time of the year? Are we going to try and do it at night, early in the morning, when it doesn't impact you as much? Yeah. Is it going to have an impact? It will. And we're sorry. We wish we could, go build it overnight in 24 hours. We're going to come up with a plan. I hate to say it's a little too early. We're a little bit more focused on what it's going to look like and constructability. Once we really have our arms around it, we'll come up with a more specific plan, and we'll also meet with business owners in the area to make sure that everybody understands what the impacts are going to be. So thank you for your comment.